All right, and we're back again today with another deadlift day. I started with a 435-pound single, followed by a 330-pound 5x5 for the main work. Also for my accessories, I did a 405-pound 3x8 for leg press. Then moved on to a 220-pound leg extension for a 3x6, I believe. And that one was actually pretty challenging. That one felt like it was a good pump, especially falling when I got off of that machine. And I could barely walk, so I was definitely feeling it in my quads. I also finished with a weighted back hyper extension. I think that's what it's called. So that was my first time performing that movement. It felt really good, actually. It felt like a good stretch. You feel it all the way, I would say, from your hamstrings through your glutes to your lower back. So while it is like strengthening your lower back, you're also getting a good stretch all the way through. And I feel like it's a good reset and a good finisher for a leg day like this. So when you're deadlifting, when you're doing leg press, you're doing things that are going to compress your spine essentially, because you're using your posterior chain to pull up the weight and to lock it out. And when you lock it out, you got to imagine holding 435 pounds at the top of a lockout. You know, that's gravity. Common sense is that your spine is going to compress, right? So the things that I like to do throughout my workouts for leg days is I'll do a dead hang. And that's one of the things I constantly do. Back when I was training in Florida a few years ago, I had some gravity boots, and that's something you can hang upside down from a pull-up bar essentially with some hooks on your boot. And it allows your spine to decompress naturally through the use of gravity. And that's something I like to practice. That's something I like to preach as well. So every time I'm working out in between sets or in between different accessories, I'll go and I'll do a 30-second to a minute dead hang just to help that back reset and help the spine elongate again. That way I'm not walking around feeling all jacked up after going through a good workout. So 435 moved pretty well today. I was happy with that. Again, beltless. I don't do straps. The only thing I had today was chalk. Same for the 330-pound 5x5. Pretty simple. The weight isn't too challenging for me, so I'm able to really just take my time with it and try to be as aggressive and explosive as I possibly can be, just to help make sure that I'm not losing the reason or forgetting the reason why I'm doing this workout, right? Because when you're powerlifting, you got to be explosive, but sometimes when you're in the gym and you're just kind of going through the motions, it's easy to slip into that, well, I just got to do it for 5, so let me just take my time. No, like, you want to snap and pop it off the ground while maintaining good form. And that's really important, especially when you get to the heavier weights. So when I'm deadlifting 475, when I'm deadlifting 495 or over 500 pounds, you know, that same snap, crackle, pop that you're doing when you're coming off the ground, it's going to carry over and help you really be explosive coming off of the floor with the weight. And that's something you'll definitely need. And you'll come to find that out as well when you move up in your weights. So it's good to practice it while the weight is still not too challenging for yourself. That way you maintain that same mentality. So when you get to the heavier weights, you're not just like, man, like, why isn't it moving the same way? Why does it feel this way? Like, no, you want to practice being explosive in these movements. Same with squats, same with deadlift, bench press, everything that you're doing. You want to make sure you have that mentality that, you know, you want to treat it as if it's your last set, last rep, or whatever the case is, no matter how far along you are in the workout. So as you can see, the accessories move pretty well. This 220-pound leg extension was I wouldn't say it was challenging. It was a good working weight. It felt like I was actually doing something here. And also I want to note that I'm not trying to kill myself or hurt myself or push myself too hard through these leg workouts, because the way I've been training lately, and I'm changing it up shortly here, I'm training back-to-back, upper, lower, then I'm taking 2 to 3 days off to reset, recover, and get mobility in there as well. So I might throw a rest day in between my first upper, lower day, then do, you know, that following day stretching and mobility, then go back and make sure I have enough time to reset my back for my squats and then my bench. So as you can see here, I'm doing these back hyper extensions. Again, it was my first time doing this movement. So if I look kind of awkward doing it, you know, give me some pointers. I was literally just looking up different videos of these back hyperextensions as I was deciding what I was going to do for my last accessory. So I saw someone else doing it earlier in the gym, and I was like, man, that's one movement I never tried. Let me go ahead and see what it looks like and how it feels for me. So that's all I really got for y'all today. Again, any tips, any comments, any pointers y'all got, I definitely like to be coached up. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Take care.